Okay, can you see everything now?
I can just see the red screen with your logo in the middle.
You can't see the decks.
No.
Hmm.
Uh, can I click? Oh, I can click. Oh, hold on a second.
Can you click on the other one?
Yeah. So it's got a you, me, and a watch stream box on the
Yeah,
right hand
go to
side.
the watch stream one.
I just hit that, and now I can see the decks.
Okay, perfect. So where we need to be now.
Great.
All right. Oh my goodness. Okay, there we go. I figured out how to make it work. All right, here goes the intro. Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the AOA adaptive deck pairing sort of matchup with guests from my YouTube who decide to become a part of this. And today I have Sir Shooter of the UK, aka Steve Kingswell, who is a good pal that I have forged with many times and is always a great contributor. And he chose the deck C pairing and to be a part of this. So welcome to this adventure, Steve.
Thanks very much, Blake. Great to be here.
Yes, and so we got today Xander Redlung from the Explorers Forum as deck A, and Barnum Duffstrokes War Leader. So interesting names, and we are going to basically crack deck A, do a little would you rather style observing, and move on from there, and then play these decks. And you get to have the would you rather choice, and I'm stuck with whatever you do not wish to play. And as is my
Sounds
yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun, and as my signature style is, I will struggle with the foil of these decks, and I will talk about how I have tools to coming to fix it, but never use them each time. So yeah, it's a good little play here.
Have you noticed how similar the two Archons are?
I did notice that they're quite identical in a way. That was interesting because this is the only one that's like that. All right, so we got first. I think I do it this way actually. Boom. So we flip it over. We start off with a Heist Knight. And then we have a Depino Spy Master, Lights Out, Bonneret Venom, Umbra, Nerve Blast, 3 life for a life, so that's interesting. Lemindra, Gamgee, Dust Chronicles, and then on to Sanctum with a 1 stood against many, Mother Norel, Prince Derek, Double Grey Rider, Take Hostages, Smite, Maruk the Mark, Golden Aura, Obad the Grim, Abon the Armorsmith, Lion Boutram. Then we go on to Dis with a Shadow of Dis, Tentacus, Pain Reaction, Old Yerk, Bronze Key Imp, Unlock Gateway, Not Finished With You, Charette, Binding Irons, Banish, and then 2 Ember Imps to make the finish very underwhelming. But aside from that, it seemed pretty solid. What were your thoughts, Steve, just on first blush?
Well, I like the shadows set here.
Yeah.
Really, lots of tools. Good stealing, disruption. Be interested to count the number of thieves to go with
Yes, I
the.
was thinking about that. So I'm gonna do a creature count, and maybe you can note the thief as I do that. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4. So all of them are thieves, actually.
Yeah.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 18 creatures. So not a bad number. And then for pips, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That's quite a good ratio, actually, I think, for a creature to pips for AOA. So I'm not half mad at that. Now, what do we think that's cool in here, Steve? Because I think there's definitely some cool stuff in here. A lot of
Well,
board control.
load of board control, absolutely, and variable uses of them as well.
And we got a Mother Norel that is going to actually pair quite nicely with Take Hostages Maruk the Mark, and Abad the Grim. And I feel like that's quite rare you get a Mother Norel that actually can do some work with the deck. Oh, and we have
Yeah.
Charette in here as well. So that's actually
Yeah.
quite a nice card in this.
Yeah. So an interesting amber control from capture perspective, and
There's a lot of Ember
what?
control. This deck seems actually quite well rounded, I would say, except for maybe the cycling aspect. The efficiency is maybe the only downside, but not. I don't think it's to the detriment of the deck at all.
Yeah.
The double Grey Rider is quite nice, especially if you can follow up an Unlock Gateway with a turn like that.
And the golden aura allow it, and tying in with the one against many.
Oh yes, that could be a hot take right there for sure. And then Boutram to make something bigger. And obviously we missed a bond, which is going to put in work with Obad getting more, but more so Maruk the Mark having that potential to action if you need that little bit of extra Ember control and capture 3, which is quite nice to have at the disposal.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of Smite. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I love it because it's got the dual ability of, ready in fight to give you that extra efficiency, and uh, and then spreading some damage across. It's almost like the damage is almost like a mass mutation card with a damage pips on it. The ability to spread
Mm-hmm.
damage outside the creature you're directly attacking.
Yeah.
So yeah, I like that.
And of course we have Shadow of Dis, which is just a really nice disruption card that can make things annoying for opponents next turn. Tentakiss. Tentakiss is a nice little also nuisance card. I
It
think
is.
Old Yurk could actually do a lot of work in this deck because, Ember Imps are a good example. Or just if you want to have a more efficient turn coming up, you can just choose the other house that you're like, you know what, this isn't going to help me next turn. I'm planning on wanting to do a big Sanctum turn. So these Shadows cards in hands are not really helpful to me. So maybe we'll pitch some of those. Although a lot of the Shadows have pips, so that may be more of a challenging play to pull off. But it's nice to have the option of Old Yurk just for cycling, especially if you're near the end of the deck. The Unlock Gateway, I think, will all be time-based, because if you have too much Ember on the board, this may not be a good call, but I think there will be a situation when it's definitely going to do you some good.
Yeah, agreed.
I would have to say, does Dis feel like the most underwhelming part of the deck, and it's not even that underwhelming?
Do you know what? I agree with you, and I think one strategy could be using the Yurk just to clean out dis creatures and play more turns in the other two houses
Yeah.
because they're strong.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, there are some key cards in here that are nice, but I just think that in general it's more just going to be that you would prefer the other houses. So
Yeah.
I'm quite excited about that deck. I think it's very nice. It's going to be curious to see how this next one matches up against it. All right, pulling out the scissors for this one. It always baffles me that I struggle so much with this foil, like consistently. It's how is this a thing?
You are not the only one. Originally, it was trying to open the boxes without damaging them, and
Yeah.
then getting through here without damaging your cards.
All right, so that's when we start things off with a Roxador, a Quicksand. Oh, that's going to be good in this matchup. Nature's Call with a Chota. They're everywhere. Save the Pack. Persistence Hunting ×2. A Glimmer ×3. Okay. Fang House. Well, I think we already know the combo there that exists. And then we have Yahtzee Gang, Whistling Darts, Umbra, Throwing Stars ×2, Sucker Punch, Ronnie, Nerve Blast, Miasma, Life for Life, Bad Penny ×2. Oh, and then another One Stood Against Many. Be Gone. Oh, That's going to be
Oh,
deadly in this
interesting.
master. Yeah. An
Yeah.
untamed ambassador. Very nice. Gatekeeper, free markets, Grey Rider, Surmeros, Hallowed Shield, Golden Aura, Bordan the Redeemed, and 2 blinding lights. Steve, I'm going to tell you right now, I think this is going to be a slugfest. These both seem to have very nice counters to one another, and I think it's going to be a matter of who gets there first in a way. Do you know what I mean?
I do. We've got a lot of opportunity with this deck to put damage on, and then do um, some actions to kill the damaged creatures.
This Nature's Call with the triple glimmer is going to be it could be very, very powerful. So let's just take a look at the creature count here. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 creatures with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12 pips. So again, still not a bad ratio. I'm actually really excited to test these out. I think they're both going to be very fun to play and provide different decisions to be made. So like we said, there's the Glim Call situation there. We got the they're everywhere save the pack. Unfortunately, Chota will have to be one of those situations, I think, where you just get lucky and you happen to just be one off and you have some of these pips in hand and get to pull him. I don't think it will be something you can set up within house that well, considering the creatures on board. Well, first of all, there's triple glimmer, which is going to be tough. I think I think at least one will be discarded each time it's played. What are your thoughts on the Untamed?
Yeah, the ability to have one key cheat or possibly two during the game is
Mm-hmm.
there.
Yeah.
The timing of Nature's Call to either push cards back from the opponent's hand. How many of our creatures in Untamed have pips on them that we could?
None have pips.
One. Yeah. Okay. So it's much less about probably your own hand and working that to
Yeah.
burst with anger, and
I
much
think it's
more
going to
about
be just Glimmer and then dealing with your opponent's stuff. Although you do have the fun thing is if Ronnie's around, you can bring Ronnie back.
yeah.
Set up that Shadows turn. The Shadows is quite interesting. The throwing stars with the glimmers, because you don't need that many, is quite nice. So it gives you the ability, I guess, to just allow your to take out some glimmers, get some extra ember. Nerve Blast is Miasma, Life for Life. The pennies with the throwing stars. That's gonna be fun. You could actually get a lot of work, especially if you're holding 2 throwing stars and you got 2 pennies. You may actually want to be playing the pennies in this deck.
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting Shadow Sweep for sure. And then the Sanctum feels it feels a little bit bursty actually. I think there's some potential there. The Begone is obviously going to be it's going to be good, but also the dis is not as important in the other deck, so it will not be that powerful in a way. Again, we got the one set against many golden aura combo in this. I'm noticing this. You have the blinding light, 2 blinding lights and 2 persistence huntings means this deck is going to very much slow down the other deck, I think.
Yeah, very much. I mean, there was a fair amount of board control in the other deck, and
Mm-hmm.
this deck, there's a lot of point damage, and with the stunning, yeah, I think this, as you said at the beginning, a bit of a slugfest going on here for advantage. The question really is whether this deck has the higher expected amber. We've got free markets, and the pips are very similar, aren't they? Just about
Yeah,
one different.
I think so, yeah. And then not to mention you have all the potential through shadows to gain ember. And this card
Yeah,
is actually quite interesting because the Untamed Ambassador, I mean, I just realized this. Golden Aura, one stood against many. Untamed Ambassador means you could technically play 3 untamed cards in one turn.
Yeah. Yep.
Because it says you may, so for each time you do it, I guess you would be able to do that, which is cool. And you could go the free markets Untamed Ambassador into a Chota potentially. That seems like something that could go down.
Yep.
So unfortunately though, the free markets won't hit for that much because there is 2 overlapping houses. So technically I think you can do a maximum of 3. So not huge, but still good. Okay, I think we should move on to the games because I just want to jam these now. Which deck are you wanting to rock? Deck A or deck B?
I'm going to go with deck A.
All right, exciting stuff. Okay, so we're gonna move over to TCO now and give these a test and see which one will go. So here we go onto our adaptive game. All right, it's time for some adaptive. Steve is rocking Xander Redlung from the Explorers Forum, which we just went over, and I will be piloting to kick things off Barnum Duffstrokes War Leader. So we'll each play this deck, then we're going to swap decks, and if required, we will bid chains on the deck that wins twice in a row. So here we go. All right. So before we started this, Steve and I were having a discussion about how him and I have decided to not play KeyForge in as a competitive fashion as maybe before COVID struck, and how we've both been really enjoying that experience.
Interesting start. Didn't expect you to play what you just did.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, then you're really not going to expect this. This is why I had a glimmer in hand to start with. There we go. Just going for Ember Push real fast.
Yeah, not a bad start. This is more like I was expecting.
Interesting. Getting to pull the Dust Chronicles off is never a bad thing. Interesting. Ah, that's a nuisance.
Yep.
All right. Steve, is there any type of decks you've been playing lately more so than others you find? Archetype or set wise? Obviously, Dark Tidings is the new hotness, but
Yeah, well, I have been playing Dark Tidings the most, just to build up some decent experience with it. And it's been a lot of fun and deeper and more complicated to learn than I think any set we've had to date.
I would agree.
So yeah, I think as a set, it's going to have a nice long period of time in which you get to enjoy learning on it rather than perhaps previous sets, which one can probably master a little bit more quickly, which I
Mm-hmm.
think is good. Um,
Do you think that's why people feel it's not competitive? Is because it's taking longer to actually figure it out and have that play, that effect of understanding it, so to speak?
I do, I do. Uh, I think working out the combinations, um, which are much more about two, three, and four card combinations and timing things right and order of play, is very different to um, the way it's been in other sets. So I think, yeah, I think that's very much going to be uh, the way this set plays out, giving us an opportunity to build deeper strategies going forward. The question is going to be whether there's going to be enough deck types that don't rely on too many long-term complicated combinations, that other sets are more nimble, so as to whether Dark Tidings will get to the sort of up to the top of the tree with alongside Worlds Collide and MM, to be honest.
That's really interesting. I like the way you phrase that. It's like the fact that the fact that it's not simple is actually what's hurting it. So it is powerful, but because there's a lot more to it, it makes it almost less desirable to play, just because of the fact that you're not going to be able to do some of those things that you easily could do in the other sets, and therefore, just for out of the sheer complication, like, it may be powerful, but the draining energy of doing it and executing it and staying on top of everything makes it almost less desirable in a competitive format, but does not reduce the power of it. It's just the execution becomes more complex.
Yeah.
I like that. I think that's a very good way of putting it. It's not that it's not competitive, it's just that if you have the option to choose a more simple route, you're going to take that route just because it's easier to do. I think that's a very, very good point. Oh, I forgot to turn off spectators. We have our friend Andrew Kong just joined, a fellow Brit.
Hey.
Oh, and he left. Okay, I like what you did there, sir. I do like what you did there. You played right into my hands, so to speak.
Well, we'll see.
Oh, whoops. I forgot that it does not fight the same creature more than once. Oh well. The burst was good nonetheless.
Was.
Ah. Well, that is a nuisance.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have the double Grey Rider here?
Unfortunately, I don't.
Ah, did you forget Boredom was elusive?
I did. I did.
It happens. I
It
figured
does
that must
happen.
be the case. Have you ended your turn? Sometimes my side freezes when I'm streaming stuff or recording.
Not yet. No, I'm done.
All right. Decisions, decisions. Oof. I think this is the right play. Things are getting interesting.
They are. They are indeed.
Oh my goodness.
Well, to you.
That complicates things a little bit.
So don't forget you're under Shadow of Death.
Thank you. I definitely would have made a mistake if you had not told me that.
I had a very wise player who gave me a little bit of education in KeyForge. Remind me of that when we were playing, and I was always grateful.
Hmm. Okay, so I know I'm doing that. Oh, text boxes are blank. I
Yeah.
I forgot about that. That worked out in my favor actually, so that's okay. Hopefully, short-term loss for long-term game with that one.
Just saying, I'm going to bathe in the glory of the first key for a very short period of time.
Lately, I've been really just fascinated with the idea of trying to find decks that SAS have overlooked that hit way above their weight class. Since I was gifted that great Martian Generosity deck, and it was a 56 SAS, but just like hit so hard. I'm just like, huh. I wonder what else you can find out there that rates one way but can play much different. And I'm just like obsessed with this quest of seeking out either in my collection or what I can glean from other people's collections. I find it very fascinating.
Yeah, it's definitely for me been an exercise of go through each kind of like SAS ranking 50 to 60, 60 to then 65, 65, 70, and try and find the best decks within those interim rankings,
Mm,
and then just see what level they can play up to. And
right.
it is really fun.
Hmm. That's probably a good call. Ah, that was interesting. I was not expecting that. Oof. Oh my goodness.
Okay.
Well, that's really changed some things here for me.
So I figure this deck should make a lot of amber from reaping, and it's probably got the slightly stronger board presence. So let's see if that's the main route to victory here.
Hmm. Interesting decisions here for sure. Yeah, I think that is what I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think I want to do that again. Yeah, you're right about the board thing because I was just like, oh, I probably shouldn't have returned Glimmer. Now that I think of it, that was a missed opportunity. Oh no, I didn't want it on board. That was why.
Big shame. I can't really use my smite.
Your what?
Smite.
Oh, yes.
You need some neighbors.
Yes, not for the effect you would like.
Yeah.
My dastardly plan is coming to fruition. That whole turn was just to make smite. I was smiting your smite.
Um, okay, I can do that. What one does forget, deal two, right, is you still get Smite's first action, which is ready and fight.
That's
And
true.
if there's nobody to fight, then I get to reap.
That is a true statement.
So,
Oh, your deck is very good.
so I'm going to play that action, and I'm going to put it onto him.
Ooh, I think that was the missed
He
opportunity.
to reap.
I think Mother Norrell was actually the play, my good sir.
Well, reap. Would it?
So
Yeah, but oh
you
yeah,
get
sorry,
two Ember with Mother Norrell.
you're absolutely right. I got seduced by Orbe, discard one, and when I could have actually put it on my pool. There you go. You live and learn. Right.
It's true. Yeah, I think that the Sanctum is this. You're actually demonstrating why I think the Sanctum in AOA is a powerhouse that is not talked about enough.
Yeah, and I mean, this is a good combination with Mother Novelle and with Orbe and the Armor Smith, Baltram. They're all kind of reinforcing each other, which is going well
Agreed.
until
Can't argue with that.
until your stunning starts to have an impact.
I gotta slow you down, which is we figured that would be the way this would play out, though. It would disrupt, and it's looking to be pretty on point with our assessment.
Yeah. So we are going to. Oh, apologize. I hit the wrong house. Can we
Yeah,
just
yeah, of
take
course.
a manual? Um, okay.
Oh, I think that's the right play. Is get the powerhouse that is your board right now.
Yeah, back into play.
Mm-hmm.
Because yeah,
Your Depino Spy Master has been so useless.
it has been absolutely useless. But who knows? It may just have a turn when it does Well, I had one actually good play out of it. I got an extra rate.
That's true, yes. Okay, I don't know if I should be doing this, but we're going to give it a whirl nonetheless.
Hmm.
These decks are very interestingly matched, I must say. Like, just seeing how the deck I'm playing seems to push Ember really well, but your deck has such good answers to that. It's fascinating to just see them in action, and the back and forth that's been occurring. I find it very intriguing.
Yeah. Uh,
Oof. Big oofs all around.
there we go. Played out quite well.
I would say it did. Did you end your turn? Am I frozen? Oh,
No, you did.
played out quite well indeed. You went right into my hands. Mwahaha.
Again. It's time for touche.
It's time to do this correctly, though. Okay. So we go like so. Like so. So you use the Grey Rider to have Untamed Ambassador hit an elusive creature and then play to save the pack. Now I have the Sanctum Dominance.
Hmm.
This is a very enjoyable matchup, I must say. It's quite a nice back and forth.
It is. It is. You taken away my onboard amber control. Like doing that.
Decisions, right, Steve?
Yeah, it's a big decision one way or the other here. And
I'm guessing you're faced with utilizing board or cycling, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Isn't it
And
fascinating how we're at the exact same draw pile too with these decks? Like we each have 5 cards left. I think that's so interesting when things like that happen. Like the matchup has just been.
I'm one amber different.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, if I
Steve and I were talking about before this how this seems to be such a great way of utilizing AOA because of no other set. I think you could basically match the decks by houses and almost guarantee it's a fair matchup. But with Age of Ascension, you do have that being the case where if you match up by houses, there does seem to be a little bit more level playing field when they face each other to a degree. See, my board is quite nice, so I'm now pressed with, do I utilize that or cycle some? I think I will cycle some. I have some plans here. Interesting. Interesting indeed.
okay. Well, oh, we've got a massive triggered abilities here,
Oh,
but fundamentally, let's go on to 9 amber each and keep it
okay.
neck and neck.
I'm going to get to combo off here, which I'm super excited for. Living the dream over here, Steve, not going to lie.
That was a nice play.
We talked about it. The combo came. I had a feeling because I saw that I hadn't got the throwing stars last one. I'm like, you know what? It doesn't matter if the pennies keep coming back because once I get those cards, it doesn't matter if they're on board or in hand. They'll still do their job.
Yeah, very nice. And I'm afraid that I need to concede on that, my friend. I
Oh,
can't take you on.
yes. I had Choda in hand as well with 2 pips, so I feel like it was a foregone conclusion.
Yep.
All right, let's rematch swap decks. I will click that button, and hopefully it actually works. Yes, we're in business. Okay. You get to
Um,
decide who goes first and whatnot.
okay, perfect.
Oh my goodness, that is a starting hand if there ever was one. Uh, hmm. Ooh, the quicksand play.
Yeah.
Shadow of Dis is in effect.
Thank you.
Oh, the back and forth is no joke right now. Oh, wow. That seems potent. Did I freeze up?
Yeah. No. I've played the Grey Rider.
You click
It
on the
says,
Grey Rider and then click on Untamed Ambassador, I think.
yeah, it's not giving me that. It's just giving me end turn. So for some reason,
Oh,
it's not
yes,
giving.
because of Shadow of Dis is in
Oh,
effect.
shadow this. Exactly. Okay. Uh, in that case, end turn. Shame. I lost an amber.
And the ability to play an Untamed card,
Yes.
which I would argue is maybe the more crucial of the two things. Ugh. This is awful. Oh, very nice.
Hmm. Interesting decisions, even with decks that have look like they're matched and have complementary plays. You still have some very interesting decisions to make.
Yes, I agree.
So we are going to read. Yeah.
Oh, I see the folly, but I could not do anything about it.
Apologies, I have played the wrong card. Do you mind if I take back?
No problem. I think you're going to have to allow it to go to your discard and then put it back to your hand and reduce your ember.
Okay.
So just choose a house
Sorry.
that isn't present, basically.
Got it.
Yeah, and then put it back in your hand, reduce your ember by 1, and then you actually have to reduce your ember by 2 and then ready your Untamed Ambassador, I think is the way you're going to have to actually do it.
Do it by 2.
Ready Untamed Ambassador. Yeah, and then now turn off manual and just start over again, basically. I think that's the best way to do it.
Thank you.
No problem. Mother Norel has elusive. Hmm. I feel like I've seen this movie before, but
Okay, over to you.
interesting. Why did you discard the blinding lights just out of curiosity?
I just figured that my board position was
No, I mean,
working
why
well
didn't you get the ember from them?
because they were going to. They were going to. I was going to stun Sanctum, but I should have played them and chosen a different house and taken the
Yeah,
Ember.
yeah.
Yep.
Oh, you've definitely got me in a pickle here. Yeah, that's the one thing, the blinding lights, you actually want to use it for Sanctum, but you most likely will also have Sanctum in this matchup, so it makes things a little bit complicated.
It does, and there was a point earlier where I thought you had a better board, and I was going to go with it and use them. But then other options came up, and it didn't work out that way. So
This is a tough one. You've put me in a pickle here.
hmm. I need to.
This has been much more of a grind than the previous game.
Yeah, not as dynamic.
No. Which is interesting. Oh, wow. Very nice.
Yeah.
Well, yikes. That's all I gotta say. Yikes.
Hmm.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
Okay.
All right, looks like I will not be going into check this turn. Because your board is needing to be dealt with.
Looks like it.
I love when you realize you could have done something better in terms of like positioning, because sometimes I feel like you need to position cards with the thought of what could come next. Like sometimes you need to anticipate what you could draw into to have the maximum effect, and you don't realize until you see that by doing something you did previously, you've eliminated that as an option. And I always am fascinated by that.
Yeah, it's one of the great things about this game is the way it plays, and the learning that you have. Even when you're playing the same deck over and over and again, you learn something new each time,
Mm-hmm.
and
That's true.
you can still make mistakes. Um,
Interesting. We're getting a tidy board going over there.
yeah, and just about got control of your board.
It would seem so. Well, I don't much care for this situation that's occurring.
I can understand that. But
I guess I have to do it this way.
oh,
The board progression is no joke.
no. Okay.
This is getting dicey, Steve. I'm not gonna lie, it's getting dicey.
It is. It is.
Ooh, Fang House. Well, that didn't work out well.
Um,
Oof. I don't like where this is going, Steve.
no, there's kind of momentum happening here, isn't there? And
There is.
and the boards are not as even as they were before.
They are not. I have to do something about that.
Yeah. So amber control comes flying in.
I just have to plan this correctly. Okay, so that's for sure correct.
Yeah. That's strong.
Worked out
Nine
okay.
damage. 9 damage to take Maruk out of the game. Okay.
Oh, the nerves. Oh,
There you go.
okay. I had the other Grey Rider, so it's
Ah,
unfortunate you did that. Okay, have to be smart about this one. It's gonna take me a second to think this one through, Steve, so my apologies.
don't worry.
Okay, so that will perfectly... Oh, I maybe should have done it the other way. Okay, here we go. Off to the races. Now here comes the hard part. Maybe that... Oh, I think I'm in a position right now where I'm either doing a very smart play or I'm very much misplaying, but I don't know which one it is. We shall see.
Okay.
Oh, I realize there's a card you could have which could There's 2 cards you have, actually, I think, that could hose me right here. Question is, are they in hand or not? Oh, they might be.
I know which cards you are talking about.
There's a couple of them, actually. You have a few options to close this out right here. Oh, there's one of the cards I was thinking of, but you did not have the other one. Oh, that was the other card I was thinking of. Oh,
How much chamber control have you got?
not enough. You got it. You got it. I was wondering if you had the other Glimmer to pull back, have Nature's Call in hand, then you Glimmer back the Chota.
Yeah.
I
No, I
think
didn't.
that is the better of the decks, to be honest with you.
I think you're right.
It has the
I
edge.
think
So we got to go to chains now. All right. So the chain bidding process. Steve, since it is my deck, I actually will start the bidding at 0 chains. Over to you, sir.
so. On your deck,
The one you just played.
when I've just played, I will bid one chain.
I'll bid 2.
I'll bid 3.
I'll bid 5.
Hmm. You can have it for 5.
All right. So rematch swap decks. Hopefully everything works out okay.
Rematch swap decks.
Perfect. And then before we hit start, I'm going to go manual.
Yep.
Add 5 chains. And I will go first. And here we are.
Very good.
Interesting.
Mm. And you're the first player, right?
I am, yes.
Okay.
Ah, very nice. Very nice indeed. Well,
Yeah. Okay.
that's kind of a pickle right there. I'm not going to lie. Is this the wrong call?
Ooh. Interesting.
Mm-hmm. Being tricksy over here.
Yeah. That's an unusual play, which is fine. Fair enough. Well, in that case, We'll go back to square one.
I like it. Feels bad doing that, but what can you
Yeah.
do?
Well, this game looks like it's touche with amber instead of with board.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. It's been fun playing these decks against one another. I think this has been my favorite matchup so far.
Right.
Very interesting indeed.
Yeah, you've got a lot of tools in that deck, haven't you?
It seems to be the case, yes. There's a lot of different combos and such that you can do to do some shenanigans. I've shed all the chains already, which I'm quite impressed with by turn 3.
Yeah, you have, and I'm on no amber. So you're back to square one, which is pretty good. Right.
Here it begins. Well, that was fun.
Yeah.
I actually really, really like this deck. I think it shall
Yeah.
be played beyond this tournament.
It's growing on me too.
Well, you have it in your system, or is this the one? No,
Yeah.
you don't have this one.
No.
You
But
chose one.
last
Well,
time.
if you want it, let me know. I'll gladly
Yeah.
allow you to have
Yeah.
it
No.
to be played.
Oh, okay. Um,
I kind of just realized that all the decks I seem to be enjoying playing the most from AOA have Sanctum in them. And not only do they have Sanctum, but they have ambassadors within it, which further leads to why I like Star Alliance, because I love Star Alliance for the fact that it has the good old what am I
yeah,
thinking of here? The house cheating factor, and I think I'm just a big fan of being able to house cheat.
yeah. It's more than just speed and efficiency. It's also versatility, because usually when you play into another house, you've got some other tools to select from, which is not in the house you're currently in, which tend to have similar tools. So
Mm-hmm.
it creates flexibility and agility in the deck. So they are good cards. Although I don't have many of them in my decks, and the one I do, I think has Brobner in it, which is not always that useful.
No, not at all. I've got the combo so well that I'm, and the board state is very conducive to the Glim Call situation here, that it,
Yeah.
it feels oppressive on my end.
Oh boy. Um, Suboptimal play, whatever I do.
Cycle, cycle, cycle.
Yeah. There you go.
All right.
Oh man.
I'm always fascinated how KeyForge, obviously the RNG is such a big part of it, because we played two games that were very back and forth, and this one suddenly just turned a different direction.
Two keys. Well played.
Hmm.
My bronze key imps are quite useful now.
Indeed. Does not feel good to do that. Oh, why did I do that? Oh, this hand is awful suddenly. I realize I misplayed discarding the bad penny. There's no reason not to with the Grey Rider on board.
Yeah.
Stall tactics, unfortunately. Were you one to ever play Mortal Kombat, the video game?
No. Tekken.
So I don't know if Tekken has a similar thing, but you may have heard of it in Mortal Kombat. You know how there was the leg sweep move you could do in Mortal Kombat where you just put the guy in the corner and just sweep their leg over and over again. They couldn't really get up.
Yeah.
That is what the Nature's Call Glimmer feels like to me. It feels like it's just a
Yeah.
leg sweep. You're just doing the same thing over and it feels cheap. You're gonna win doing it, and it doesn't feel good. That's kind of how I'm feeling right now with this.
Yeah, it's a repeated, not even soft board control. It's a pretty oppressive, repeatable thing, isn't it? And your deck actually plays into that really well.
Mm-hmm.
Nice set of combos.
I don't like doing it. Like I feel like I should do it, but I don't want to do it anymore. Okay. Stun Sanctum. Oh, that was nice.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. Seeing as they were stunned, they could be fodder.
Well, the comeback came out of nowhere. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, I don't think I can catch you though, but we're going to give it a good try. 5 keys.
Oh, bronze key imp.
I can now use it now I have a key.
Yes. You definitely are making me feel nervous here, Steve.
Good. It's about time.
I find that not finished with you is quite strong in that deck, actually. Especially at this point when you have like a low draw pile, it's quite nice.
Yeah, this is the time. This is the time really to have it, and you've got to be a little careful not to
dilute it too much.
Too much, because if there's a couple of cards you want, just play it. Just pull one or two in. Which is what I'm thinking about right now.
Well then.
Oof.
Down to the wire.
It is.
The elusive triggers have been getting you.
Yeah, well, the thing was, I actually, I didn't want to lose. I didn't want to lose this guy.
Oh, do you have the double Grey Rider going on here?
No, I have to discard this card.
Is it one stood against many?
Yeah, and because if he fights, I'm going to lose him. I'm just working out, do I want to take out your... And I'll lose him against the next. Probably do, otherwise you're just going to... Play it, the action. That kills him off there. And then it's the most dangerous candidate.
I think that was the right call.
Yeah.
All right. Hopefully that's enough.
Would be if I didn't have him.
What if I told you I was holding a glimmer the entire time?
Just in case you needed it, right?
Well, because I knew it was coming here, so I've kind of been anticipating the end game.
Yeah. Capture some glimmer, put it back in my hand, take the amber.
Just wait for Chota. Went with his deck twice with that. Yeah, this was a fun matchup. I have to say I really liked it because there was a point when it seemed like this deck was running away, and then it came back and it ended up finishing relatively similar to how it has every single game.
Yeah.
Which is quite fascinating to see that. I was like, wow, this deck really pulled ahead, but it didn't matter in the end. It everything came back to sort of the equilibrium that we have seen, even though this deck has won every game. You still came back to like the matchup ending a similar way, which is quite fascinating.
It is, and interestingly, then in reflection now, how many chains would you have taken on the deck? You ended with 4.
I think 7 might have been where I stopped.
Yeah,
but it was at the point where I was really considering. Like I think 6 would have been I probably would have taken it at 6, but 7 is where I may have passed when it starts off with 2 less cards.
Yeah, and I was of 2 minds at 5, and it was like, okay, I think it might depend how the cards fall and what the starting hand like.
Because they were close enough that if I think you had I got the good draw with the Glimmer Nature's Call because it stopped you from getting what you needed. But if I hadn't had that situation occur, I think the deck would have pulled ahead.
Yeah.
You're right. You're 100% right.
Hey, but that was a lot of fun, and it it's a kind of game experience using AOA that we've just done that you don't get with any other sets.
It's true. I would agree. Like I said, being able to match houses and have a fairly balanced game, and just by the houses because of how Ember Control comes down, how that is going to be. And it's interesting to see that. I honestly would have thought Dis has the edge slightly in controlling the game, but I think the Untamed provided the combo, and B, the burst that you didn't think about that gave it an advantage.
Definitely right. I was going to say the same thing. It's really the 2 sets of Sanctum were relatively matched. The Shadows had pros and cons, but relatively matched. But the Dis on this deck is a little on the weak side.
Yeah, the double Ember Imp and Bronze Key Imp didn't help anything.
Yeah. And even there was only one of the 2 games where the York gave me the right discards to speed the deck up. And even then, the second discard wasn't an ideal one.
No, you're making concessions.
Yeah. So the Yerk wasn't great.
No.
Whereas the Untamed with the Glimmers and Nature's Call and the Persistent Hunting.
They're everywhere save the pack, Quicksand.
Yeah, exactly. That was a really good set of tools and able to work together, especially with the damage you could throw around with throwing stars and other things like that. So there's lots of combos to control the board, and eventually in the 3rd key, pretty well take advantage each game.
Yeah, it seems to be the case. You're absolutely correct on that one. Well, thanks so much, Steve. This has been an absolute blast. I appreciate you putting your hand up and claiming this deck combination, because it's been a pleasure playing it with you.
Yeah, likewise. Really enjoyed it. Thanks a lot, and keep up the great work.
Thank you. And as always, folks, may your ember never be stolen and your keys forged promptly. Have a good one. We'll be back with deck D pairings next.